What's going on, guys? It's your man, Ed Hayes, the Wholesale Coach here, back for another episode of the Wholesaling Mastermind podcast, guys. And in this one, woo! I cannot tell you the level of anticipation when it comes to this particular podcast. I've got the man, the myth, the legend already, Earon Bevans on the podcast today, guys. He's out here crushing the game. So I just wanted to have him come on to the podcast, share some game with the community. So how is it going, my brother Earon? How you doing?
Man, bro, I'm living life. I'm loving it. I'm excited. I'm dumb hyped to be on this podcast, bro. I'm ready to rock and roll, and anything that I can provide for the family, for the community, bro, I'm ready, man. I'm excited.
I want it all, expensive trip, exotic cars. When I took that loss.
All right, man, let's get it. Let's get it then, man. I'm really looking forward to it, bro. Like, if you guys don't know, like, so matter of fact, wait, before we even dive into it, why don't you go ahead, just for the people who don't know you already, they not hyped to, you know what I'm saying, the scene and whatnot, what's actually happening out here. Go ahead, introduce yourself to the audience, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So wholesaling is my bread and butter. I love it. There's a lot of people who say, look, real estate is just my vehicle to get to what my real passion is. And what I want to do. For me, I'm legitimately hyped about wholesaling. I like it. You know, it is fun to me to solve problems. It's fun to me to drive around looking for houses, walking properties. It's fun to me to make this amount of money. This is exciting. You know what I mean? So I love wholesaling. A little bit about my background. I'm a high school dropout. I didn't grow up in the best neighborhoods, but I had a good family. I had a good dad. I had a good mom, despite their struggles, and divorced at when I was 7 years old, and traumatized me emotionally. But nevertheless, they always showed their love for me. So I grew up with that support from them, despite the fact that we didn't have much, and despite the fact that it wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? So I will say I did have that advantage. But when it was time to get out into the new world, I didn't know what I was doing. So, you know, I took the wrong course for a little while, sold drugs, did that whole story. I'm not going to make it. This podcast is not about that. Right.
Hey, you're not
I did
the
that
only
whole Yeah, exactly. This is not a sob story. I want to focus on the positive, but got past that, got a few whoopings. My dad beat me up a little bit. And when I was married for about 2 years, my wife pulls me aside and she says that, she doesn't like the way she's starting to feel about me. And at this point, I'm like 23 years old, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And she says, well, you're a good husband. You're a good head. Like, but I feel like you don't know how to provide. And she had been an entrepreneur for a minute, and she obviously didn't marry me for the money because I didn't have any, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't that she was being materialistic. It wasn't that she was saying, hey, I need for us to be rich. It was not that. She's still not that way. But it was a concern of hers, like, hey, I want to feel like I'm protected. I want to feel like you're going to take care of me. Like, I don't want to have to feel like this whole finance game is on my shoulders. And it hurt, bro. It hurt, man.
That's real.
Yeah. And I started to resent. I'm not going to front, like, I'm not even going to pretend like, oh, this is like I'm noble. I started to resent that a little bit because the way I interpreted it, because the background I come from is my dad would play this game with us where he would be like, hey, y'all, let's do a scavenger hunt, and let's see how many coins we can find, and then we'll go to McDonald's with whatever we got and eat.
Right,
you know what I mean? So for me, the background I come from is God will provide.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the background I come from. So now, and my wife, the background she comes from, her family's from West Side Chicago. Okay. Her parents came out of the city, took her to the suburbs. She grew up in the suburbs, and her parents come from a background of you manage money properly. And God provides by giving you the thinking ability to be able to manage your finances properly, right?
Right.
Different perspectives. And so I took it the wrong way and started to resent it for a little bit. But what it came back to was, she wasn't coming for me. Like, she wasn't disrespecting me. She could have outed me and blasted me in front of the family, humiliated me. She didn't do any of that. She legit came to me one-on-one, like a good queen. And she approached me on some like, hey, I want you to be better. I want you to reach your potential. And when I finally locked onto that, my competitive drive was triggered. And I was like, okay, bet. You want a good head? You want somebody to provide? All right. So I started looking for different opportunities, and on YouTube, I found wholesaling, like, because I needed something that I could do without getting a license, without going to college. I'm a high school dropout. I only got my GED. I don't have any talents. You know what I mean? I don't have any skills. What can I do where I could start my own business and from the jump, from the mud? You know what I mean? And so wholesaling was it. And I've had that why backing me up, driving me ever since, bro. And that was like 19 months ago when I first officially started.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's not that long ago, right? So I'm assuming, would you like 25, 26 now?
I just turned 29, bro. I'm actually 29.
Oh, 29. Okay. So it's been a while. Right. Hey, that's what's up, though, bro. Hey. You know, I'm 30 myself. I'm about to turn 31 this year, man. So,
yeah.
But man, hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. It's like you come from humble beginnings. It's like you've been through a lot already, and I think that's super real to kind of how you hit home on that, like with your lady telling you, like, look, I want you to be the best man that you can be. I want to see you providing out there for us. I want to feel comfortable that you can do that. Like, that's, man, like that super hits the core right there, because I know so many people out there right now is like they're a couple weeks out from having that conversation. That hard conversation with their lady, you know what I'm saying? Or with their guy or whatever. It's like, look, I see you out here grinding, but where the money at? You know what I'm saying? Or like, what is it going to actually turn out to be? I know you've been out here grinding, but you know what I mean? So I think that's super deep, bro. And like, I had a similar situation where I wouldn't even be in this situation right now had it not been for my lady kind of giving me that permission to actually do it. I was telling her, I was like, baby, you know, I'm afraid to make these phone calls, you know, like I got to start cold calling people and stuff like that. And she was like, look, you got this. I believe in you, like whatever it was, like that moment was where things clicked and that competitive drive kicked in, like you said. I think so many of us, we wait like until something tragic happens. Like, can you see me? Can you see me still on my screen? I'm frozen.
You're frozen. You're frozen, but I can hear you loud and clear, so you're good. You're good now. You're good now. Yep.
Okay, I'm back now. Okay. Yep. But yeah, like I think that I lost my train of thought right there. But like,
you were saying how sometimes we wait until something tragic happens before we get to moving. Yep.
Right. I think like so many people do that, and like what I try to do is tell people like, look, we gotta like artificially create that desire. Let's not wait until our family is out there telling us like, look, I need you to get your stuff together, or you know, the repo guy is coming to take the car. They shutting the phone off and turning the lights off. You know what I mean? Let's not wait until then. Let's start now to start taking that action. So I just think that's deep, bro. I really appreciate you sharing that, for real.
Yeah, absolutely. I read I shared this on Martine Jackson's podcast a couple months ago, and for me, it was the realest thing I had seen in a while. And it was a picture of a chessboard, and then the quote on the top, and it said, relationships are like chess. The queen protects her king. And of course, you know, there's different aspects to that statement, because the king's job is to protect, right? But the queen does protect her king. And I think that a lot of times we as men, we're not trained how to emotionally deal with the pressure that you're talking about, right?
Yes.
So we get that pressure, and so we don't realize by saying, man, I don't need nobody to and I'm out, you know what I mean? What you don't realize you're actually doing, and this applies to entrepreneurship, this applies to wholesaling, this applies to everything. What you don't realize you're actually doing is you think you're being tough. You think you have that level of certainty. It's not. You're being a coward. You're running away from it.
Yep.
Right? And it's the same way in business. Sometimes the pressure, sometimes life will smack you and life will be like, bruh, you need to get these bills paid. And we take that as if, man, I've never been a nobody. Nobody in my family has ever believed in me. Now I'm in this bad situation. I may as well give up. No, that's not what life is telling you. Life is telling you to get up, right? Life is telling you to level up. It's not telling you to give up. You gotta match whatever is that's facing you and putting that pressure on you in order for you to grow. You know what I mean? So I'm with you 100 on that.
I truly agree, bro. For real, man. Like, I feel like we never get more on our plate than what we can actually handle, you know, at any given time. But speaking of that though, bro, like speaking of like having stuff on your plate, like I just want to like fill the audience in or whatever, because like we were supposed to do this yesterday, but you actually were locking in a $60,000 deal. So like, I just want to kind of just dive into like the actual system for a second. Like,
okay.
Like how does your operation flow? And matter of fact, like if I'm not mistaken, are you in the San Antonio area, I want to say, or where are you located at?
San Antonio market. In fact, I got somebody coming in right now. Hold on 1 second. What up? Hey, look, you're gonna get 2 for the price of 1. This is somebody in the market. This is Cherry the GOAT.
What up?
Hey, man. What's going on, Cherry?
Her and her partner, whenever they were partnered up with us, they helped me get like almost 6 figures just in wholesaling themselves. Yeah.
Okay.
We're actually right now in my new office, and so the GOAT is hooking me up. She's letting me borrow her truck to move in a bunch of my stuff into my office today, man. So
okay. Hey, we may have to chat soon too, Jerry. In that case, look.
What's that? What'd you say?
I said we may have to chat soon too. Then, in that case, you know.
For sure.
Yeah. That for real. So yeah, man. When it comes to like the systems and processes, that's what you were asking about, like what the process is?
Yeah. Kind of let the audience know a little bit about what you got going on right now in the business. What's the funnel looking like? What's the pipeline looking like?
Got you. You want to chill for a little bit, or are you gonna dip? Yeah. No, you're good. If you can chill for a little bit. So in terms of the process and what we got going on, basically the way it looks is we had a three-person team, and then our dispositions actually just left to do and run his own business. And it's funny because we like running a lean team, right? This whole social media hype and having a 10,000 square foot office and you know, a whole bunch of acquisitions and dispositions people, that's cool and all, but look, I believe that the market is about to take a turn, and I think a lot of those people who are not prepared, I'm not calling anyone in specific out, I'm just saying a lot of those people who are not prepared and doing this for social media, like they do this for the clout, I think a lot of them are going to they will not be the same people after this market shifts. You know what I mean?
I agree.
They're not going to be on social media talking about, you know what I mean, check out my office and, you know, woody woo, you know what I mean? So I believe in keeping a lean team. So we had 3. It was Annalise, who's my CFO. Me, I'm the CEO slash acquisitions. I oversee all sales on the acquisition side. And then Richard, who is like COO, chief of operations, and he was doing all disposition. He's
okay. Uh-oh. I think I lost you there for a second.
Yeah. I had somebody calling me, my bad. So what happened with him is that he saw that our company arrangement was holding both parties back. And this is actually important for a lot of people to hear, because I'm a huge fan of talking about teams. Everybody wants to partner up and do something together for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. And this is I'm gonna answer your question about processes and where we are, right? Check this out. we hire a business consultant to take a look at our business, okay? Our business consultant says, you're doing everything wrong. And by the way, last year, we hit almost $500,000 in wholesale fees, bro.
Okay.
Right? Wholesale fees, right?
Right.
So at the beginning of this year, we're trying to structure our business, and we're like, yo, like, what can we do to scale? And I'm looking at what's in our business account. I'm looking at what's in my personal account, and I'm like, yo, why do I feel like we work so hard? We hit all these landmark, months and year, and we can't even scale. Like, I'm not even that nice right now in my account. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? And the reason why is because my business consultant, he was like, you're doing everything wrong. He was like, how much have you paid yourself over the past year out of all as the CEO? And so we looked at and he wanted to know my books. And by the way, he's showing my numbers in front of everybody in the room.
Right.
In front of everybody. And these are all high-level wholesalers, CEOs from across the country. You know what I mean? So he's like, show me your numbers, right? He wants to see HUDs too.
Okay, right.
So he's like, how much did you take home this past year? And I'm like, probably like 117,000. And he was like, yo, he's like, Earon, real talk, you live in the butt crack of Texas in terms of like prices. He was like, do you know you can rent for like 60% of what you could make rent for in Dallas or Houston or Austin? He was like, you have no right as the CEO and owner of your company to be taking that. You're stealing from your business. All right. So watch what he shows me, and I'm promise you I'm gonna answer your question because I just take the scenic route. But watch what he shows me, bro. He says, how much do you need to live a decent life over the next, each month? And I'm like, my wife works too, so I'll say for me, about $4,000 a month. Okay.
Right.
So he's like that. So he said, let's do the math. So $4,000 a month times 12. So he said, you should have taken a salary of 48,000.
Right.
Okay. So he says, let's take what you actually took home, which is like 117,000 minus 48. He said, you stole $69,000 from your business.
Right.
It doesn't end there though. He ran the numbers for me. He says, okay, the average overhead of my company last year was $3,900 a month.
Okay,
right. So he did the ratio, $3,900 a month, then multiply by 12, produced 400 plus K in wholesale assignments. That means you got to solve for X. That means you need to figure out, okay, what would this $69,000 have done? So he plugged that $69,000 in on top of the 49, the 400 that we already, bro, we would have been milli rocking in business already. We would have already hit $1 million in wholesale fees, because then you had to take that and say, okay, we paid out profits to the COO. We paid out profits to the CFO. When he said, that's not how to do it. He's like, that's why your business is failing. So watch this. We come back home and we say, all right, business consultant showed us the right way to do it. Now we have to take a salary. All right. Well, here's the thing. I had been getting rich off of doing it the wrong way. All right. And at least the same thing. But our COO, he hadn't. And it wasn't fair to him, to be honest, because he had only been with Squad for like 6 months. And so now on month 6, now we're like, hey, you can only take a salary just like the rest of us, and we're gonna grow this thing and really blow it up, right? And so he was like, man, I can't afford that. Like, I can't do that. Like, I gotta do my own thing. So he's like, and I know I can't ask y'all to take a higher salary. So it's like, I'm holding y'all back, and now y'all are holding me back. And so we did. So now that comes into answering your question here. And I wanted everybody to hear that, Ed, because partnerships in this business can, if proper expectations are not set, man, your whole business can crumble and fall, and then and you end up feeling like like this person didn't have my better interests at heart, and you know what I mean? Like it could turn
You
real
gotta take
ugly.
it real slow. You gotta accept very, very clear expectations from day one. For real.
Yep. And the beautiful thing is what we did as a team, when we started as a team from the jump, we set an expectation that 6 months from now, we're going to have another conversation to decide whether or not we should stay in business. Right. So the conversation was dumb easy. Right. It was dumb easy. We could, we could say, hey, should we stay in? Does this make sense financially for you? Right. And for him, it was like, no, it doesn't. And okay, why? Can we resolve it or can we not? And then boom, so we split. So all that to say, right now our company structure looks like this. We got Annalise. She's the CFO. Low key, bro. I'm gonna say something on this that I'm confident to say. I think low key, bro. Me and Annalise will probably be in business 10 years from now, dog.
Hey, I believe it.
She's just like the way we work. It's like almost like telekinetic, dog. Like I have this skill set. She has that skill set. I want nothing to do with her side of the business, yo. So I'm like, yo, make your decisions. I want nothing to do with that. Right. And she wants nothing to do with my side of it. And so it works just beautiful. You know what I mean? So the way it is now is she's a CFO. She does all bookkeeping, all tracking, all KPIs. She does oversight of uploading leads, organizing all of our data, all that stuff. I'm the CEO, so I have in mind acquisition, sales, overseeing all of that fun stuff, branding, raising private money, all of that. Okay. And then we have a VA who pretty much fills in all the gaps for everything else. And then then we're gonna bring on acquisitions coming in, but we're gonna do it the right way this time. And yeah, man. So with this deal that we locked up yesterday, it was actually a referral. It was a referral, bro. I love referral. This is why I tell people, don't sleep on social media. Don't sleep on the free stuff. Don't be too bougie to do the humble stuff.
Right.
So this referral comes in. It's a 28 unit apartment complex. And she tells me straight up that dude does not have any financials. He's a humble cat. He's being deployed soon, and he doesn't have the time, resources, or energy to fix it up. This is a motivated seller, bro.
Right.
So I get the call in the morning, like around 9 a.m. from one of the people in my Facebook group, and I'm like, I'll be there by 12. So I drove out there. And while I'm driving out there, I'm calling up my buyers already. And I'm like, hey, look, I'm about to lock up this deal. This is what I'm looking like. You know what I mean? This is the situation. And I'm very, very transparent on, hey, this is the whole rundown. Like, let me know if it's something that you like. So before I even get to the appointment, I already got 3 buyers that are like, yo, don't send that to anybody else.
The right way.
So we get there and come to find out the reason why the dude doesn't want to produce financials. And by the way, for those that don't know, financials are like the profit and loss statement, which is the income that's coming in from the 28 units minus the expenses for operating it, and then the net profit, right, over the past 12 months. Those are the financials. So he's like, look, I'm not very organized. I've been doing this super makeshift. I pay one of the tenants. I give them a discount to collect the rent for everybody else, and I just pick it up. And sometimes I'm like 2 months behind on actually collecting the rent. And the rent will actually be paid. It'll actually be paid, but he's like, sometimes I just forget, and so like I'll be 2 months behind actually going to collect it.
Right. Wow.
And so it needs a lot of work. And so the way we locked it up, bro, we locked it up so when you saw on social media that I put $60,000 deal, I hate social media. I hate social media falsehood, bro. I can't say I hate social media clout because that's how I build my business off of the clout. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
But I hate falsehoods. But I say that to say this. I said $60,000 deal because I'm shooting for $100,000 deal. Right. But I know for a fact that I can 60 is like, I'd rather come back and tell social media, hey, we locked that joint. We got to close fund at 80 G's. You know what I mean?
Right.
And here's the beautiful part about it, bro. Here's the beautiful part about it. The referral, she's somebody who just quit her job. She wants to spend more time with her family. And so she's like, she comes from accounting background. So she doesn't know in business how to build relationships, how to look, you know what I mean? And
Right.
really build that rapport. So, we get there and she's like, she's like, this guy is really tough to deal with. You know, he wouldn't give me anything. He's probably not going to budge. I feel so bad that you drove all the way out here and you're probably not going to get it. And that's kind of her belief system, right?
Right.
I get there, bro. As soon as I get there, I crack a joke. Dude starts laughing. By the way, Cherry right here is like the beast when it comes to this, like building the rapport and knowing how to make people feel comfortable. And so dude is laughing the whole time. He's like putting his arm around me like I'm a son. And when it comes time to talk about the financials, whenever I asked about it, he was like, yeah, whatever you need. I mean, I'm willing to provide it. And you look like somebody that's serious. And I'm looking at her and she's like, this is a different dude. So after we contracted it, she was like, you got like the Midas touch and you're like the best and greatest. And I'm like, it's not that. It's not that. Once you learn that wholesaling and real estate and basically business in general is so much less about the business and more about relationships and people. Like whenever you go to walk an appointment, make it about the seller. Whenever you're negotiating on the phone, make it about the seller, right? And that's legit. I kid you not, to the point where it's uncomfortable. That's 90% of the time that we're there.
I was literally having that phone call this morning. I was telling somebody the same exact thing this morning. Like, look, it's like you just got to be out here. Like you actually just genuinely want to help people. When you genuinely want to help, you don't even have to think that hard. It's like the words come to you. Everything just flows naturally when you got that spirit of servitude. But continue though, continue.
Bro, no, we're on the same exact wavelength. I always say that attitude of servitude and spirit of love, bro. Mm-hmm. And it sounds corny. And I even have people who make fun of me about it. You know what I mean? Because they Preacher Bevans is trying to, and it's not that, bro. If you have two wholesalers, right? You have two wholesalers. They both go walk the appointment. The one is going to go in and he's going to play this game. Yeah, needs a lot of work. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this happen. Yeah, it just needs a lot of work, right? So you have that dude, right?
Yeah.
And then you have me that comes in like, yo, mama, what's good? And I'm like hugging them and I'm like bringing tacos and like talking to the kids. And I want to know like, what memories you've created in the house, like, you know what I mean? Like, dang, that's crazy you've had it for that long. And what are some of the challenges you face? Because here's the thing, me and that other wholesaler are going to have an uncomfortable conversation with the actual seller. Yeah. We're both going to have that conversation, but the seller's now going to have a conversation with somebody that they like. So now when I tell them, look, can I be honest with you? Or are you going to punch me in the face when I tell you something you don't like, right? Whenever I ask them that and I tell them, look, you can't get $90,000 for this property, but let me explain why, right? And then the other wholesaler is going to be like, yeah, the comparables just don't match up. Like when you look at the numbers, it's, you know what I mean? Logically, this doesn't make sense. Like they're always going to make, well, I shouldn't say always. The majority of the time, they're going to make the decision based on the person who has shown love for them. So that's why I always say spirit of love, attitude of servitude. You know what I mean? So that's really what it comes down to.
Man, so you all locked that baby up yesterday, just like that. So are you already shooting it out to buyers or what? What is it looking like? What is it looking like on the dispo end?
Bro, I don't even think we're gonna have to shoot it out. The 3 that we sent it to are like, yo, send me the information on it. That way we can go see it and we'll have our offer for you.
Just like that.
And I'm shooting it out. That's why I said I'm shooting it out for much higher than the 60. But I'm thinking worst case scenario will be at the 60 to 80 range.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, but you know what though? When it's this whole idea, right, of this business is about people, run that same deal from the very beginning to the end, right? It was a relationship that got me the deal. Okay. It was a relationship that got me the contract with the seller. Yep. And it was a relationship that made it so that I have 3 buyers right now who are trying to set appointments after we sent them information.
Right.
So I'm not just like speaking some feel good type, motivational type stuff. It's legitimately about an attitude of servitude and a spirit of love from the beginning to end in this business.
It really, really is, man. It really, really is. And like, I tell people this all the time. In fact, I got a thing that I call like the 5 pillars of real estate, but it really works for any different business that you have. And like the first pillar in the 5 pillars is relationships. You gotta know people. So in wholesaling, it's gonna be like buyers, sellers, you know, attorneys, title companies, contractors, agents. You wanna know people and they need to know you. You gotta be putting yourself out here with like a creative presence online and offline so people can find you. If everything is always dependent on how many phones you're gonna bust down this today or whatever, it's like it's always gonna be limited. It's always gonna be a cap on how much you can do. It's pretty much owning the job if you're only doing like one thing and stuff like that. So you gotta have relationships, and like having relationships in general, that's the first pillar. You got relationships, expertise, volume, consistency, and tracking and analyzing. Those are the 5 pillars. I believe that really translates to any business where if you've got those 5 down pat, you're gonna be winning. It's really not that complicated. The mechanics of these deals aren't really even that like complicated. I think a lot of people just get caught up in their mind thinking like, oh, well, what happens in this situation? And what happens when I say this and they do this? And they're trying to figure out everything instead of just taking those actions, those first steps in faith. You got to be willing to be vulnerable out here. I think that that's super important. So, but speaking of that real quick though, because that's actually something that I think a lot of people get from you, right? Like you're a super confident guy. And I think that that's, like for a lot of people may not have that confidence. They may be nervous, scared, worried, like always thinking like, oh, the worst situation, essentially. What role do you think like confidence plays in actually building up the business?
Hold on 1 second. All right, bet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right, see you. Yeah, about the confidence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what role would you say that confidence has in building up your business? Or like what has confidence, like what difference do you see? Or like kind of break that down for me. Like what do you think makes the difference like between people that are confident or aren't? Or like what do you think is the benefit of being confident out here?
So that's such a beautiful question, man. I that's probably one of the best questions I've heard on a podcast, man. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you. So first of all, I gotta shout you out, man. Those of you that follow Ed Hayes, you're blessed to have a coach and mentor like this, man, because he's asking these questions for your benefit. And these are the questions that get to the root of the success of your business. So big ups to you for that, man. In terms of confidence, I believe that confidence is key because you cannot do any of this if you don't believe it's possible.
Yes.
And I think that that's where confidence comes from. Confidence comes from your belief system. In fact, the logo of my company is a lion, and our slogan and motto and mission statement starts off with saying the spirit of a lion. And the reason why is because the lion is not the biggest or the smartest or the fastest or the heaviest animal in the jungle, but he's the king. Mm-hmm. So why? Why is that? The lion could have any excuse for why he shouldn't be king. He could say, I'm not as fast as the cheetah. I'm not as agile as the leopard. I'm not as smart as the monkey. I'm not as heavy as the elephant. I'm not as tall as the giraffe. Why should I be king? Do you know why? Because the lion believes that he's king. Right? So watch this. This book right here.
One of my favorites. One of my favorites of all time, man. The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz.
Yep. You have to program your mind to believe that you are worthy of a $60,000 deal. You are worthy of a $50,000 paycheck. But if you're listening to this right now and you're like, no, you don't understand. I can't talk like you. I don't dress like you. I don't smell like you. Okay, let's start simple. You are worthy of a $5,000 payday. You're worthy of a $5,000 deal. And the difference, to answer your question, Ed, the difference that makes in your business, I don't know, bro. We could talk for 2 hours. Everything. Yeah. The way you sit in your chair, the way you talk, the intonations in your voice, the look on your face, the way you gesture. You know what I mean? You know, you're not gonna be like this. You know, when you're negotiating. You know what I mean? Your confidence is going to change the game, but your confidence comes from your belief system. Now I'm gonna, that being said, look, I'm gonna drop something heavy on him real quick, bro. Watch this.
Ooh, drop it on him, bro. Drop it on him.
Watch this, hey, watch this. This is in chapter 2. This is like my 4th time reading this book, by the way. Chapter 2, the last sentence of the page says this: study the lives of successful people and you'll discover this: all the excuses made by the mediocre person could be, but aren't made by the successful person. So any excuse you could come up with for why you are currently not a 6-figure earner, a multi-6-figure earner, a millionaire, any excuse you could come up with as to why you're not, the 6-figure earner, the multi-6-figure earner, the millionaire could have made that same excuse, but they didn't. So what it comes down to is, what are you feeding your mind, right? And so I follow heavy Brian Tracy, and he says GIGO, GIGO, which means your mind can only manifest what comes in. So garbage in, garbage out.
Yep. Facts.
The opposite is always true though. Good in, good out. Right? So if all you're doing is hanging around with welfare people, and I'm not calling anybody bad, if that's all you hang around with, the dude that smokes weed and traps and you know what I mean, this is just that life, and like his goal is just to be at Burger King, like that's his goal, and then on the side he traps, and that's the people you hang out with. Guess what? Everything he says, you think you're grown enough and you think that you're mature enough to say, oh, that doesn't affect me, one ear and out the other. Well, guess what? Bullets go through one ear and out the other too, but everything it does in the meantime will destroy the brain, right? So same thing. If those are the people you're hanging out with, if those are your influences, you cannot control what happens once the thing comes into your mind, right? It's just like eating food. It's just like eating food. You can control what you eat, right?
Right.
But once you take the bite of that and you swallow it, processes begin taking place from the back of your throat down to it coming out into the toilet. Processes are taking place in your digestive system that you have no control over.
Right.
The same thing when it comes to the music you listen to, the people you hang with, the TV shows you watch, the podcasts you listen to, the books that you read, right? The thoughts that you think. You can control what you consume. But once it comes in here, processes are taking place you have no control over. And that may be why when I say I made a $60,000 a month, your excuse could be, oh, Earon, that's because you dress fly. Or Earon, that's because your hair is slick. Or Earon, that's because you know how to talk. Or Earon, that's because I could, 2 years ago, none of that was the case. Like, I'm a high school dropout. I didn't have no money. I had a 400 credit score. You know what I mean? I don't have any skills, talents, or trades. I grew up on the wrong side of town. You know what I mean? But I started doing this. You know what I mean? So that was the long answer, but confidence, man, that it's a game changer. And then changing your beliefs will help boost that confidence and change that for you.
Man, that's super powerful, bro. For real, man. I hope that you all are listening to this man right now, because he's really giving y'all the game. I really, really mean that, man. I swear I was so looking forward to this, man, because I'm like, yo, he's about to blow people away on this podcast. It's going to be nuts. But yeah, though, bro, like, man, just like kind of breaking that down or whatever, I think it's super important. Like, you got to think big. And what I've noticed all the time, because, you know, I coach people all across the nation and stuff, as I'm sure you do. You talk to people and whatnot all across the nation. It's like, it's always those excuses. And so I love it how you put it that it's like all of those excuses are the same things that someone who's already where you want to be could have said, but they didn't. Like, I love that. I'm not even gonna lie. That's a game changer right there, because we all go through the same things, bro. In fact, like, I want to write a book like called the cheat codes to life. Don't steal my idea, people out there that's listening. But like, I want to write a book, though. I've been talking about this for a year, bro. And it kind of essentially, it's like we all face the same adversities in life. I literally believe that we all face the same things, but they happen in random order for all of us. And so, like, I want to write a book, and I feel like all the adversities, when we face them, if we don't conquer that adversity, then we are doomed to keep facing that same level over and over again in life. But if we face that adversity or that fear, that whatever it is that's holding us back, whenever we tackle that opponent, whenever we beat the boss, then we level up. Then we go to the next level. That's the only way to win the game of life. I'm telling you, but you can't be afraid to face your battles, to beat the boss, because that's where your true greatness lies. And I swear to God, I realized this in my own life, because I used to be terrified of making cold calls or just talking to people in general. I didn't want to make a YouTube channel. I wanted to, but I was terrified of actually doing it. And I just started stepping into everything that I was terrified of. And I swear to God, that's what made the whole difference. It's literally just stepping into your fears. And that's what creates that confidence, because you start to realize that, oh, wait, I can do this. And that's what the belief kicks in. It's like a trigger that happens. It's like, wait, I believe I can do this now. And then it's real. Now you've got the confidence, and you just rocking and rolling, and you're making it happen. Then that imagination becomes reality, like through that process of facing our adversities.
Yeah, look, I know there's I'm gonna piggyback off of that. I know there's a taboo against the man Kales, our Kales in the community, you know what I mean? But I will say this. These lyrics were powerful. Think about this. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Watch this. I think about it every night and day. I spread my wings and fly away. Right? Really think about that. I believe, right? And you're saying something that is so astronomically outside of your comfort zone, right? And then you think about it every night and day, right? So it becomes an obsession. Remember, good in, good out. You're thinking about it every night and day. And then guess what happens? It is inevitable. This is a universal law. It is inevitable. You become what you think about most of the time. Before you know it, those wings are spreading. You get that first $5,000 deal, right? And now it's like, boom, your belief system, like, yo, I did that, right? Check this out, Ed, right now in our Superhuman Wholesaling campaign, I got this young cat. He's 25 years old. His name is Jamie Duncan, African-American kid. Dude does not come from the background that you think would epitomize someone who's very successful.
Right.
Okay. Dude has a $0 marketing budget. Okay. And I just feel the dude's story, right? Like, he has a daughter on the way. He's trying to do the right thing. He's staying with his girl because he wants to be a part of his daughter's life. Dude is 25 years old, right? Just a good dude, bro, a good dude. And by the way, he could be doing whatever he wants, but he's trying to do the right thing, okay?
Right.
4 weeks ago, he gets fired from his job at FedEx, okay? He's got a daughter on the way. He joins my campaign, right? And you could just sense the dude's like despair. Like, what am I gonna do, man? Like, I don't want to be like these other cats out here. I want to be there for my daughter. I'm at nothing in my account. Like, what am I going to do? Right? Dude has no marketing budget. I make it my personal aim to just pour into dude. And I didn't give him any money.
Right.
Okay. I didn't give him any leads. I didn't give him anything except for belief. Bro, you can do this. Right. And he will call me when he was getting discouraged. Bro, I'm only getting no's on these cold calls. Like, what am I doing wrong? I'm like, the only thing you're doing wrong is you're not cold calling right now.
Right.
You need to be doing it more because you got a daughter on the way, bro. Come on, how much money are you gonna make this year? And you'll be like, man, I don't know. Nah, bro, how much money are you gonna make this year? 6 figures. You're gonna make 6 figures this year, bro. Let's go, right? So we had that conversation, a few times. Today, my man funded a $10,000 deal, bro.
No, let's go.
Today, on February 14th, Friday, and we started this campaign the second week of January, 0 marketing budget. I showed the dude how to utilize free sources, and my dude closed on a $10,000 gross profit deal today. Why? It's beliefs. It's the belief that you can actually do it. And this is what I told him, bro. This is what I told him. Look, check this out. If you can do that in the first, I don't know, what is this month? What is this week? This is week
6 weeks.
If you can do this by week, but okay, so this is the 6th week of the year. It's the 5th week of the campaign. If you could do this the 5th week of the campaign with $0, I want you to not be stupid. Don't go out and get some new J's. Don't go out and go do nothing dumb. Don't go out and get drinks and rounds for everybody. Don't be stupid, bro. Okay? I need for you to tell your girl that what you're going to do is you're going to take a portion of that money and dump it back into your marketing. If you could do 10K in 5 weeks with $0, what can you do in the next 5 weeks with $3,000?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how this business works. But it all starts with your belief that I can do this. I can make this happen. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah, man, that's a deep story, man. Like, it's so many people. I feel like that why, like what's getting you up and going is one of the most important. It's like the magic elixir that really makes everything happen. It's got to be more than, I'm trying to get $10,000 just because. It never works. It never works. If it's just like, oh, I need some money, it's never going to work. Whenever you're just thirsty for the dollars, you'll never end up getting it. Like, money is it's like a woman. You got to seduce money to get money to come to you. You know what I'm saying? You got to woo money to you. You can't just be like, oh, I'm thirsty, please give it to me, and then think that you're going to get it. You got to have a why. You got to be passionate about it. It's got to be like, I either win or I'm dead. Like, I'm going to die if I don't get this. That's how I started off too. I had quit my job to work for this lady. Like she ended up passing away, and I had just found out about wholesaling right before I quit my job, and I quit it on bad terms because I'm like, look, screw y'all. She paying me cash under the table, man. Screw y'all. I'm good. I left on bad terms. I look up 2.5 weeks later, she's gone. I got to figure this out. It's either I'm gonna get a deal or me and my whole family are gonna be homeless because of me. You know what I mean? So it was no joke. It's no middle ground when you end up in situations like that. But I try to tell people, don't wait until that happens in your life. Create a why. If you don't have a why right now, artificially create a why if you need to. Just tell yourself, like, look, I'm going to make this happen. Start shopping for the car. Start walking properties that you want to buy for yourself. Really become it now. Don't wait until you actually get there before you start believing that it's possible and start living as though you're already doing it. That's how I feel. It's like it's some magic there, man. Some magic. So, but man, though, let me see, man. I know, like, we getting into some deep stuff here, man. I really put this on everything. I believe that, like, most of this stuff, most of the business really boils down to what's going on in here.
It does, man. It does, and I want to say this for anybody who's watching this and they're like, yo, like, I just want to know technically how to do this, and look, I understand that, but this is the crux of it. because actual wholesaling, like you said, is not a technical process.
Right.
You source your leads, you contact the sellers of that property, and you ask them, are you interested in selling? You run the appointment, you get it contracted at a discounted price, you assign the contract over to a buyer, and you close. Right?
It's not that complicated. I feel like algebra is more complicated than this stuff. It really genuinely is. That's formulas. Like, you really got to know this stuff. Like, at least with math. With this stuff, it's just like, just go with the flow. But if you don't have that like spirit, like, well, how you call it, like the attitude of servitude and the spirit of love, if you're not coming from that standpoint with like the belief that I'm not defeated until I accept defeat as a reality, if you're not coming from that standpoint, you're still gonna lose, no matter how hard you try. And that's the messed up part for so many people, because they're desperate or thirsty, or it's like they're hungry, but they're hungry coming from the wrong mind state. It's like from a sense of like lack, a sense of like, I don't have enough. Like, and that's not gonna work.
Yep, and that's the difference between being thirsty and being hungry.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Like, if you ever seen a girl who's thirsty, it's like ugh.
Right.
But you meet a guy, you meet a woman that's hungry, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's completely different. It's completely
right.
different.
Right. And I feel like the buyers, the sellers, the agents, the other wholesalers, everyone that we are working with, they can feel that. You know, like it's kind of like the lion out there in the jungle. Like, other animals feel that energy, like that confidence, that passion, that desire to win. It's kind of like you got to have a competitive bone out here. You got to feel like you're going to be the best no matter what, no matter who else is in your market. I don't care. I literally in my heart believe that I can go anywhere and compete with the best in any market. I can literally pop up in San Antonio and I'll be like, look, I'm calling your leads, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Look, hey, I have to move to San Antonio. Look, I'm out here with you, bro. But you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be all competition or whatever. I'm all about collaboration as well. But you get where I'm coming from. You have to believe that you can be the best, even if there is competition that doesn't like you or something like that. And you got to fight for your dollars or whatever. You know, like, you got to believe that it's possible for you. So, but real quick though, bro, because I want to make sure that people know how they can keep getting this value from you, as like, especially, bro, like, I want to shout out to your Facebook group, SuperHuman Wholesalers, because yo, like, I've been telling so many people about that group lately, because I really, really mean this when I say it. It's genuinely one of the most valuable groups on Facebook as far as giving genuine value to the people inside the group. When someone posts something, it's like a gang of comments up underneath that actually helping that person, including yourself. On damn near every post, like, you're on it. So I really appreciate that. Like, I was inside of the group, I'm checking out stuff and stuff like that. So shout out to Earon's group, SuperHuman Wholesalers. If you're not a part of it already, go ahead and click that join group button. Quit playing. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself out here. You know what I'm saying? For real though.
Yeah. And the spirit. Okay, yeah, I appreciate that, man. And the spirit of that group comes from my vendetta against people who are charging and monetizing new people for value. You know what I mean? And look, I'm very open about this. I will make money off that group. However, watch this. I make money. Actually, no. Actually, no. Scratch that statement. I will never make money off that group. I make money with that group.
I like that.
Okay?
I like that.
For example, this $60,000 deal that we're trying to make it a $100,000 deal, that's with somebody in the group that's never done a deal.
Right.
So can you imagine you've never done a deal and somebody that is teaching you, instead of well, I'll tell you what, you give me $50,000 and I'm going to show you how to rehab wholesale subject to this XYZ, right? For one payment of $50,000, I'm going to show you how to become a real estate investor, right? And you pay the money, you get a book, you get a CD, you get a couple coaching calls. This is real. Couple coaching calls. Next thing you know, you've never even done a deal yet. $50,000 in a hole. Okay. Superhuman wholesalers, the whole premise of it is giving away value, and then you have people willing to work with you. In this case, let's say we are able to close it at 100,000. Instead of me asking her for 50,000, I am giving her $50,000 and walking her through her first deal. It's a completely different. We're wiring the game differently, bro. Wiring the game.
Man, I can really tell that, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I love the group already, man. Like, I be getting all these notifications. I'm like, damn, Facebook blowing me up with these notifications. But it tends to be some genuinely valuable stuff. Well, like, I'm on there answering questions now and stuff like that. Like, just because, you know.
Yeah.
It seems
now,
like.
I will.
Well, what you about to say?
Go ahead. My bad.
Like, it's a lot of people in there that genuinely want to help, and I know for a fact a lot of the people that's answering on these questions are like genuine wholesalers out here getting bread, and like they're genuinely just giving as much value as possible. But everything kind of stems from the head. So if you have that spirit of servitude, which you do, everybody below you is just following suit. Everybody is kind of going along with your vision for that group, and that's why I like it so much, for real.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I'll say this. My mission and my vision is not against people who are charging for mentorship. And here's why I say that. I have bought Wholesaling Inc. for $5,000. I bought TTP course for $5,500. I bought Steve Trang's training, Real Estate Disruptors. Paid almost half a year, $1,000 a month for that. Who else did I? Oh, Joshua Gaiman, cold calling on steroids for $5,000. The all-in guys, Carlos Reyes, Alex Sainz. I went to Momentum Elite. I took my whole team there. That was a $15,000 trip. And then 2 months later, we paid $25,000 for their elite program. So I am not against mentorship and coaching. I mark my words, in this business, I will always have a coach.
Right. Yeah. Same.
I will always have a coach.
Same here.
You know what I mean? Yep. So I'm not against that. What I am against is the traveling gurus, okay, who've never even done a deal in your marketplace. They come to a hotel near you and promise you that they're going to teach you rehabs, subject tos, owner finance, wholesaling. They're going to teach you all this thing in a weekend, and then they're going to take you to a retreat, and then they're going to put you on a couple coaching calls who's not even the personality who sold you. Yeah. Because the person who sold you, they're on to Florida. they're on to New York somewhere. You know what I mean? It's going to be someone you've never met, and they're basically going to answer your questions for a coaching call, and they're draining people's 401ks. They're having people, bro. Whenever they pitched me on that joint, I was calling my in-laws, asking them, "Can I borrow $30,000? I'm good for it." And I had because they sold me on it. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So and I didn't have any money. So that's where my vendetta is against, bro. So. And those are the people that the sincere coaches like you, right? The sincere mentors and coaches like myself, we're cutting the legs off of those giants, and we're removing the heads.
For real, straight like that. Look, I swear on everything, bro. Like I be talking so passionately about that, because I've been out here coaching for a couple years now, and it's like I've seen so many people taken by these traveling gurus, bro. It's like it makes me sad, bro. Like over the course of time, the people that I've worked with have lost well over $100,000 working with these people. Like multiple people that lost 30 grand, somebody lost 12 grand that I'm working with right now. Like proof is in the pudding. These people are like so scandalous. Like I just had a whole podcast like about a month and some change ago with a guy named Colin Hart out in Canada or whatever, and like pretty much like the whole topic of that podcast is like either we're going to regulate ourselves and like expose these fake gurus out here that's like just trying to finesse people. We're either going to do this stuff ourselves and regulate ourselves, or at some point we're going to get regulated. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you can't just keep doing dirty stuff and just thinking that we're going to get away with it. And it's like those traveling gurus that are out here going all around the country. They spend millions of dollars on marketing, on radio, billboards, everywhere. And then they're in a town near you for a 3-day event. At that 3-day event, you're probably going to pay a couple $100s for that. And then they're going to be trying to sell you on at least minimum of a $3,000 upsell, which leads to the $30,000 upsell. I know the game now. So I've heard it so many times over and over and over. And they're like the scum of the earth to me. I really believe that. I'm like it like pisses me off so bad because they don't care. It's like, it's a sales thing. It's like, it's a pitch. They're trying to make money.
And so that's the truth. But let's say, let me play devil's advocate. Let's say, Ed, they did have good intentions. Let's say, I don't believe they do.
Right.
I don't believe they do. But let's say they did. Even if they did, the model that they're using is incapable of, like, let me ask you this, bro. How long you been wholesaling?
Since 2016.
Okay, so you've been in the game.
Right.
You've been in the game. Okay, do you know everything about wholesaling?
Absolutely not. I'm sure some things that I don't know, you know?
Listen, y'all, you got somebody who's coaching, who's out here doing his thing, who's out here making dumb money, who's a presence, an authority, an influencer, and he's telling you he does not know everything about wholesaling. How in the world are you gonna learn how to rehab, how to wholesale, how to subject to, how to owner finance in 2-3 days?
Right,
You can't.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, and then all you get is like 15-minute coaching calls. So it's not like, you know, when I'm talking to people, we're talking for like 2 hours. I just got off a 2-hour phone call before I hopped on with you, bro. So it's like, I'm giving people everything that they need. The most that you're getting is like 15 minutes. So, but you know, I try to play devil's advocate too. Like I always say, you know, you can't teach what you don't know. So maybe they're just teaching from their own perspective. You know, maybe that's how they got started, by paying $30,000, getting sucked into this program. And then they had to try to teach people this stuff just so they could make their money back. That's
That's where I believe the real value, and I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I think the real value for these traveling gurus is 2 things. Because of their marketing budget, they introduce so many people to real estate as an opportunity. So many of your biggest influencers in the game right now who are real mentors, who are really getting it, were introduced by the guru. So that's the first value that they have. The second value that they have is if you do buy their $50,000 course, the value in that is that you are under so much pressure. Without their help, you have to get a deal. And so that's how you get your start. So what I believe the traveling, if I were to liken this to real life, I believe the traveling gurus are the prostitute parents who produce us bastard children. They are the really inconsiderate, selfish parents who have given birth to people like me, and they were never there to help us. Right. And so we had to get it from the mud, and because of that, we made it without you, Mom and Dad.
Right. And think about it though. In all reality, if you think about it, you're right though. They are like the people who kind of funnel people in, because those same people that I said lost over 100 grand, they ended up getting in contact with people like me or yourself and stuff like that. And now they're actually closing deals or on the process to actually start doing that. So, everything kind of works itself out as long as people keep taking action. So, but man, yeah, man, I feel super strongly about those people. I'm not even gonna lie. But like kind of speaking about that though, at those sessions, right, they're going to be talking about a ton of different strategies and stuff like that. They're going to be giving out some game, right? So speaking of that, like, what's your favorite marketing strategy? Like what's the number one thing for you right now?
Number one marketing strategy for me, hands down, is, so I have 3.
Okay.
I believe that this is the Holy Grail. I'm listening. If you're cheap like me, I think PPC, if you're not doing PPC, you should be doing PPC. However, I speak tongue in cheek because I am not doing PPC. The only reason why I would encourage others to do it, and I will be doing it within the next 3 to 6 months. The reason why I haven't done it up to this point is because I'm cheap. You know what I
I
mean?
hear you. It is a little bit more expensive. It's definitely more expensive than some of the other methods, but it's automated. So
Yeah. It's expensive. However, in all the events that I've been to, I've asked people when I'm on the stage, or other influencers have asked people when they're on the stage, how many of you are doing PPC? It's legit like 5 to 10% of the people in there. What does that tell you? There's no competition, yo. There's no competition.
that's actually how I got my first deal, bro. Was PPC, Google Ads, 7 days, $8 a day, literally for my first deal. It's unbelievable, for real.
Respect. I mean, there is a lot to be said on PPC. I'm not an authority on it, but I do know when I see opportunity, and that's opportunity right there. So that being said, that is a very good marketing. Personally, that I believe is the holy grail.
Yeah.
Cold calling, RVM, SMS.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
I believe that's the holy grail trifecta, man, because it's so inexpensive and it is direct, aggressive marketing. And it just brings in so much. It's like, so I believe that between those three, it's like putting one weight on this side, one weight on this side, one weight on this side on a net, and then taking that huge net and casting it over the ocean, letting those nets sink that net down, and then you're pulling it in, and you're going to rake in so much fish. And then it's just a matter of sifting through the fish, you know?
Right. Yep. I like that analogy though. That's a great way to kind of visualize it, because I'd be trying to break that down to people. Like, look, you got to put enough out there to get something back. You're going to end up spending some type of money. It's either going to be time or money, but it's going to be a lot of either. You know what I mean? If you really want to be serious out here, at least, right? But I like that though. So you say cold calling, RVM, and SMS. So I wonder though, like, because I know in my business, the way that I like to do it is that, like, I'll have SMS at the top. Like, so I'll take like I like to do a lot of testing. I do a lot of testing just to kind of see what works best before I kind of hone in on something. So like one thing that we've tested is like doing text message at the top of the funnel. And then like for the people who actually say yes, then we're going to call those people. The people who don't say anything, we may shoot them a ringless voicemail drop first before calling them. But I'm curious, like, how do you all like process those three things? Like, you kind of just hit them all at once, or do you do like one at a time?
We're doing it one at a time right now. We actually have the same funnel that you do. Same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
SMS just because it's cheap and easy, right?
Yeah.
That's at the top. Now, I will say this though. For our driving for dollars leads, I'm calling those bad boys directly.
Instantly, right?
Yeah, I don't want those in my SMS. I want to call them right away. And so for driving for dollars leads, I immediately call those. We'll put those in our triple dialer and dial those.
So do you go driving yourself, or do you have a team of house hunters? Because I'm a huge advocate of having house hunters, especially if you're actually getting a good amount of deals already.
I have house hunters. I have bird dogs that are always sending me deals. And then I have someone on my team who's driving and producing a minimum of 300 leads a week. And I myself do what I call coincidental driving for dollars. If I'm going to lock up an appointment, I will drive that neighborhood, and then I'll lock up driving for dollar leads. And what I do, I use the Driving for Dollars app. Because
Driving for Dollars is just called Driving for Dollars app? Okay,
yep.
okay.
That's and the reason why, the reason why is it's dumb cheap. Cheap. And what it does is it organizes your list for you. I don't need all that crazy stuff. I'm not a tech savvy dude. I don't need all the widgets and gadgets, bro.
The direct mail and stuff like that with Deal Machine and stuff. Yeah.
I don't need it because here's why. Go ahead, and I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying, this is just my philosophy. You go ahead and send your mail piece. Mm-hmm. Okay. Me and you find the deal the same day. You're gonna send the mail piece. It'll be there in 2 days. Hopefully that person will call you back. Okay.
Right.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in my Driving for Dollars app. I'm gonna have it skip trace the same day. I'm calling them and I'm on the phone with them the same day. I've already set the appointment and probably already run the appointment, and your mailer is just coming in the mail.
Right.
I'm just not spending money on that, dude. I'm not spending money on
I'm
it.
not a big proponent of direct mail either. I don't really like it. I can't track it good enough. I feel like if I'm going to spend those dollars, I'd rather spend it on anything else to where I can actually see real life numbers on it. How many of these got delivered? You know, and then when you think about the cost of like a text message versus direct mail, I mean, like it's kind of obvious what you should be doing is definitely doing like direct outreach. And I like to do the same thing when it comes to house hunter leads. You got to process those snap, because you're not the only person driving around. But a lot of times with those D for D leads, no one else has called this person. If you know that area and you know, like, okay, last week this place wasn't boarded, but now all of a sudden it is, call them right now. Don't wait until next week, because by the time you do, I've already closed it or something, you know? But that direct mail though, you know, I'm sure you know this as well. Like I talk to people all the time and they're like, are you one of the people who sent me one of these 12 postcards? And I'm like, nope, definitely not me, because I like to get on the phone with people like you, Ms. Johnson. You don't have to worry about me doing anything, like, you know.
I had a post the other day, and like you said, like, I'm competitive and I could be petty, bro, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, but like if we're playing ball, we're playing Monopoly, like I'm gonna talk trash, like I'm petty, right?
All day.
And so I'm at the appointment, built the rapport with the seller, and I'm locking up the contract. And so I tell the seller, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I put you on my social media, because I do this a lot. I teach people and I just want to talk some trash. And he was like, yeah. And we had on the table, literally, bro, 150 postcards, bro. Just a pile, bro. And so I'm on social media, and I'm like, hey, y'all want to know why I don't do direct mail? I'm locking up this contract right now, and I'm like, check this out, y'all. And I'm like, look at all these, and I'm like running through. I'm like, whose mail piece is this? Whose is this? I'm about to get in the contract right now. And then what was cool is that the seller in the back was like, yeah, forget those guys. I was like, man, I appreciate you. He was cool, like a super, super cool old guy. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh. I think I lost you there for a second again.
But I mean,
okay, there you go. You back again. I had lost you for a second there again.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's me being goofy, but it's the reality, man. Like that's why I don't do direct mail.
Yeah, man, I try to stay away from that myself, man, for real, because you want to be able to track and analyze things. I feel like that's important. That's like that fifth pillar that I feel like a lot of people who are getting a lot of traction, a lot of volume, everything else, they're being consistent. They have a leaky funnel, and like things are just leaking through. They're not tracking and analyzing everything right. And when you're sending direct mail, it's kind of just up in the air. You have no idea. You'll never know how many actually made it into the inbox. You only know how many people call back, and that's not good business to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
One question though, bro, that I like to ask everyone, because I think we may be coming up on time here soon. Actually, yeah, I think we are. But one question that I always like to ask people that come onto the podcast is like, what's your best advice for a wholesale? Somebody that's looking to get started, somebody that just wants to get that first deal. You know, maybe they out there grinding already. Maybe this is the very first thing that they've ever heard about wholesale. Regardless, what would be your best advice to someone getting started right now?
Best advice to somebody getting started right now is find someone in your local market who's already doing it and see what kind of value you can provide to that person. You are not going to make the most amount of money that way. You got to accept that up front, but there is something to be said about being around the energy and belief of somebody who does have the confidence to make it successful, and then having that hands-on training, sitting down, sitting knee to knee with them. You know what I mean? I believe that that's invaluable. You know what I mean? Because if you sit down with a killer in your market and say, look, I'm a new wholesaler. What value can I bring to you? And you're gonna come across douchebags who are like not trying to give you anything. Okay, and don't let that discourage you. But you will find a go-giver. You will find a giver in your market who will tell you, look, go out and get leads, process them. I'll show you how to work them. You know what I mean? And just I don't want to sound so cliche, but take the action necessary. Once you find out what your next step is, you don't have to learn the following step. Right. If you learn what step one is, okay, pause, cool. All right, I'm gonna be right back. Go take action on step one, right? You need to source leads. So you can start after this podcast or during this podcast. You can right now be driving neighborhoods looking for busted and neglected houses and make a note of every single one of them. And then you can go to the appraisal district, right? You just look up the county appraisal district in your local county, and you can look up the owner to each one of those things. If you don't want to do that, but you want to spend a little bit of money, you have $20. You have $20 you can spend right now. Go buy the Driving for Dollars app. I have no affiliate link. I don't benefit from telling you this. Go buy the Driving for Dollars app. The Driving for Dollars app will organize your list. That means you can literally be driving in front of a house. You click on the house on the app. It'll take that information and put it in an Excel document for you. You do that for an hour. You export it, and they'll send you an email with all the information, including the numbers for that property. And then you can start calling. You can start calling within minutes. All right, and that allows you to be a one-stop shop for $20, y'all. For $20. The data is not the best, so you may have to take that same Excel spreadsheet and run it through another bulk skip tracer. So I recommend if you're going to do that, do a minimum of 50. But guys, you can get started right now. You doing that, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? That's what I would encourage you to do. Take a bunch of action, get out there and do it, and believe that you can. And go read this book.
Hey, yeah, the magic of thinking big, guys. Get up on that book for real, for real. And like that advice that Earon just gave you all is super, super important and legit for real. Like get around people who are already doing it, preferably in your backyard, right there where you stay. If you could follow them, watch them, see it, like Earon says, like building, like it'll allow you to see someone who has like that spirit of belief, someone who's already doing it, someone so you can have proof of concept that this is possible for you. And then from there, even if you don't, whether or not you have that person, start taking the actions necessary. Earon just gave you advice right there today. You can literally go download the Driving for Dollars app, start driving for dollars today. You don't need to know every single thing that needs to happen. Just take the first step in faith. If you don't know what to do next, reach out to me and Earon. We got you. Facts. We're going to make sure that y'all good, but y'all got to take that action. We cannot do your push-ups for you. As much as we wish that we could, you just literally can't. And even if we did, you wouldn't benefit from it. So go out there, take action. Man, Earon, brother, man, like, whoo. Bro, I appreciate you coming on to the podcast, man. In fact, like, I wish that we just had like 2-3 hours, but I know that people just start zoning out after some time. So I usually, you know what I'm saying, I try to make it go to like a certain point. But guys, if y'all listening, I want y'all to make sure that you go follow my man's Earon. Like, I really, really mean that. Like, this dude is next up. Like, I really, really believe that, like of all of the guru guys out here, whatever, I don't even want to call him a guru. He's just like a genuine guy. Like, you all gotta get up on this movement right now. He literally has a movement. That's what it feels like to me. Like that he's next up. So I want you all to go join the movement. Go get up on SuperHuman Wholesalers, the Facebook group. What other ways do you want people to find you online though, bro? Speaking of that, what would be the best way for someone to connect with Earon Bevans online?
You can go follow Earon Bevans at IG. And I am Earon Bevans on IG, the millennial entrepreneur. I'm not as heavy on IG. I need to work on that. Right now, my focus is building the community in the Facebook group, but definitely follow me on IG because I do drop stuff in there too. Okay. Well, I'm gonna make sure that I've got the IG link, the Facebook group link down in the description of this podcast or video, wherever you're listening to it at. Earon, my brother, man, hey, I appreciate you coming on, bro. Thank
Man, we got to do this again soon, bro. Like super gems being thrown out in this one, man. I love the energy. I really, really look forward to having you come back on again soon. If you would be gracious enough to one of these days, for real.
Already, bro. Let's make it happen. Let's do it.
Hey. All right, then, guys. Well, hey, until next time, guys, we are out.